Welcome, y'all. It's a pleasure to have you. We are back again for another episode, IndieCon recap. We have two wonderful people with us. You guys have known them from before, been on previous episodes. We have Mahatma Starseed, who is also a co-host. And we also have Khenan Newton, who is a developer and also helped to plan IndieCon. We're going to be recapping this event. But before we get into it, let me just talk about what IndieCon was, right? So IndieCon was a game showcase, for a game jam that we did that lasted 2 weeks. Game jammers came, they made games, and we also had developers who had games already pre-made showcase their games as well. We brought them into a location where people could come in, play their games. We also had vendors, and we had judges who went around and played all the indie games and judges games as well, and gave their opinions on the quality of the game and so forth and different criteria. It was a great event, a whole lot of fun. There's some clips up on the Toonamaste Instagram if you'd like to see. And yeah, it was a pleasure. But before we really get into that conversation, let me let the both of them introduce themselves.
All right, which one was it you want to go first?
If you ready, be my guest.
All right, for sure. Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Khenan Newton. I am a full-time gameplay engineer working at Oakround Studios, getting ready to release World Warfare Economics on December 25th in early access. All right, so check me out for that. You can find me on Instagram at Dreaded Draco. That's Dreaded_Draco. And yeah, I've been a game programmer, game developer for about 4 years. I started my own game studio called Plot Arma Studios, where my vision is to create a virtual fantasy world, for people to become immersed, into everything fantasy. That's pretty much like my whole vibe. And I really enjoyed helping organize IndieCon, because that did a lot for me, taught me a lot, and it's preparing me to build up to that vision even more so. And I can get more into that later, but I'll go ahead and pass it over to Mahatma.
Peace and light. Thank you for sharing more about yourself. And for everyone that's listening, I am Mahatma Starseed. I am the founder of Elite Motivation 411 and JD Out Enterprises. I am a spiritual guide, mentor, and I help individuals facilitate their personal development, their interpersonal development. And I do that by many ways: cleansing, reconditioning themselves, as well as deepening their per se spiritual or yogic practices.
Sweet. Love to hear it. As you can see, so we have a jam-packed couch here talking to y'all, and we're going to recap our experience on IndieCon. So first, I want to start off with, what were your guys' expectations in terms of being at this event? I mean, Khenan, you also helping to plan it. Something like this had never really, to our knowledge, been done before. So, what was going through your mind? Muhammad, if you would like to start as someone who was attending and participating as well.
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting experience, very nostalgic for me, as I grew up during the transformation of gaming, and to see things move from a computer to a console, to a handheld. It was a very nice to just being able to experience the transformation of new games coming out, and just jumping around and doing different things. The fish game was pretty interesting. I cannot remember the exact name. Something about a fish hook or something like that. That was a pretty interesting game. That was fun.
like Left Hook or something like that.
Yeah.
Left Hook, yes.
Yeah, I think that's what the name is. Yeah, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely like it's challenging, and that's the cool thing about games. That's why I still love to play games, no matter what age it is that you're at. Being able to just assess your mental abilities is definitely going to be pressed when you step into that realm, to the gamer's world. So that's a little bit of my share. I guess I'll say more as we go.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, like so in terms of my expectations of what IndieCon should have actually looked like. So I helped Chris organize IndieCon with the mind frame of this is our start. This is the beginning of what we are doing in a long-term effort, to build something. And um I know people hear it a lot, the Rome was not built in one night. And that's it's really true. Like Rome was not built in one night. Anybody who has anything worth um anything that is worthwhile, it took them time, work, and effort to get. It took them dedication, it took them sacrifice to get. So um I see, so like, if IndieCon is to become, like, say, like the greatest, gaming convention on the East Coast, you know it's gonna have to, be brick by brick. And this event was just like the first brick. That being said, it was a very solid, very, I'm trying to come up with, I like to come up with like multiple words to describe my thoughts, but I can only think of solid right now. It was a very, very solid brick. IndieCon it was. We were going into it expecting that, we might get, like 20, 30 people, and, you know, and like, and like maybe like things wouldn't have gone like completely as we planned, and things wouldn't have, it just wouldn't be, like the events that we have gone to ourselves, like other events and stuff like that. But honestly, it was close. Like it was actually like it passed my expectations, because um yeah, like I have organized events before, but this is like a new crowd. This is a new demographic that we're trying to pull in. We have to employ new marketing strategies and such and such. So anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? And I approached it with just an open mind. And what ended up actually happening is, we had like more than 50 attendees. We had uh plenty of games up to play. We had we had 8 games up, 8, 9 games up, and people were just having a blast, enjoying playing the game, sitting around talking, chatting, enjoying each other's time, connecting, um, just building with each other. You know what I'm saying? And it really helped. Um, like the what do you call it? The devs that were there too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I covered my expectations and stuff like that. So we can, you can move on to the next topic, and then, I can expand further.
Perfect. First off, I want to say both your expectations I loved hearing, and I really do agree with so many aspects of both of what you said, which is Hama, in terms of, you talked about the process, and seeing the process come to fruition is a very unique experience, and that not everyone every day gets to see that in reference to video games. They don't normally get to play it, but they don't normally get to see like the testing phase of like, oh, okay, you guys are like still working on this, and this is like what you've built so far. And I do think that is extremely valuable. And
Yep.
yeah, that's what we were hoping. We were hoping people felt that way, and I'm glad you said that. And in reference to what you said, Khenan, you talk about brick by brick, like yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It surpassed the beginnings of what I thought was going to really happen. But I mean by that is like, I was just so happy to see that other people were happy. That just made me happy. Just seeing that people were enjoying themselves, they were having fun, people were waiting in line to play different games. Like, yeah,
It was a good time.
yeah,
Wait, Chris, real quick, I just want to double check. And you keep going. You can hear me well still?
yep, can hear you great.
Great, okay. But yeah, people waiting in the lines and stuff. Yep.
Yeah, yo, it
Yeah,
was fantastic.
yeah, there was this one of the games I was playing, I cannot remember the exact name. Maybe you hear me describe it and you could definitely throw it out there. But it was like you had to collect certain things and like seeing how you have to really mark where you have to be, like how much time they give you to get to the spot for you to be able to throw the gem into the contraption so that it can make something
Are
and
you
like
talking about Time Works?
Yeah,
hmm
You're
yeah,
you
yeah.
yeah. It was like just so I know I know what you're talking about. You had to like it was like a puzzle game where you had to like strategize where like your character was, and then you like kind of like restart, and then where your character was is like what helps you solve the puzzle. It was like a time thing.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the levels I was in, you had to like get these bricks and throw it into the contraptor a certain amount of times, and you had to be like in a certain area, back in a certain area after you press a certain button in time
Yeah,
to get the thing that spits out.
yeah, and it was really like
And
yellow. It was really yellow game.
yeah, yeah. And it's like being able to like just speak to the people that are creating it and telling them like, yeah, maybe you give us like, a millisecond more to get returned to the spot so it's
Hmm.
not that rush, being able to have that kind of engagement with the creator or in creation modes is definitely very interesting to be able to take part in, and it gives more thrill to the finished effect. Because a lot of times, we're playing all these games and everything is moving right, and we're not worried about the angles of like throwing something and being able to see like how much work they have to go into, like, okay, I have to go back into the program and open up the field or shift it or some type of way just to get it to work. Pretty
Mm,
radical.
mm. What was the question? No, I'm not gonna hold you. Kind of forgot.
we were just talking about the in reference to the experience. Mahatma was more so talking about in context to the gaming aspect, and just
Yeah,
being able to be part of that process. I do want to ask you guys another question though. In first, I'll
yeah.
start with Mahatma. Mahatma, now in reference to like the community aspect, and as I know your experience with community events and being able to create safe spaces and so forth, how did you feel about the environment of the event? Did it feel like it was a safe space gaming environment where people could come and showcase the games that they made and people could come and play them and we could communicate and be together as a community?
Oh yeah, I definitely felt the openness because I like to talk to people and I like to talk crap, especially when I'm playing game. Like,
Hmm.
um, being able to tell someone else, like, I want to see you do it better than me. Like, I'm over here,
Hmm.
like that pigeon game.
Yeah, that was a good
Yeah, I
one.
remember that.
To get those pages, it's like I'm like we was there, me and my partner, because I had one of my partners with me, and we was both struggling. I got at least a page, but I don't think she got any pages. And
Got
to
you.
like be able to like, engage with the other people and and see like, well, let me see how you do it, to actually see like, is this possible or is it just my novice gameplay at this moment that's stopping me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's what I think is really great about games in general. and you started this conversation really about talking about hand-eye coordination, right? Um, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and with games, it puts you in this mode, especially like when you have a partner, like a friend, someone to play with. Um, it puts you in this mode where you're both like working on yourselves. You know what I'm saying? You're working on just like a skill, really, to like look at what you're doing and be able to solve a problem within it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and within that, you build connection. You know what I'm saying? So you can take two people that don't know each other, but you can play this game together, and now you're building this connection. You get conversations come out of that. You get like, oh yeah, and this part of this game reminded me like this game that I played before. Oh, you played that game before? Yeah, like that. I know that. And I really didn't like how they did this. And it was like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, but I did like this. And it's like, man, like I didn't like that much, you know. So it's like it, like games do that to people. Like they bring them together and they connect, and then it's like, once you connect, that can grow into something, much greater. You know what I'm saying? And that's what
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, and that's really one of the things I really enjoyed about running the event in general. Um,
Yeah.
where it just brought different people that haven't met each other together. And then like and so pertaining to Chris's questions, like I have to say that it was a great welcoming environment, because everybody there, not everybody there didn't know each other, just like a lot of people there that just didn't know each other, and you could see those people interacting. In me, like I knew all of the game devs, you know what I'm saying, and so all these game devs would bring their game, and all these new people that they haven't met before would come up to them, talk to them about their game, and be like, "Wow, that's so cool! Like, it's how you could do that." And it's like, and then people that made the game, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, and this is how you do it. You can start it too." And then there were also people there who had never, touched game development, but they came to the event in order to learn more about, what the game development process is. And I could see those people going up to the game developers and be like, "Oh, like, yeah, how did you do this?" You know what I'm saying? And then, there's those conversation comes out of it, and so it's a kind of environment where like you have to be involved, before you came in. It's like you come in and then this start, in learning about this community.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
hey, Khenan, I want to let you know your mic is kind of in and out a little bit.
It is.
Yeah.
Dang. How much was it cutting in?
Not like every word, but like every like third or fourth.
Right.
All right.
It was just starting, just to give you a heads up, since you were asking earlier,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like, let me know if it's better now. You know what I'm saying? But basically, to answer your question, Chris, yes. All right. For those who didn't hear, it was a very inviting environment, because new people came in, got exposed to new things, and that IndieCon was like their start in learning about the game dev industry, indie game devs.
Mm-hmm. Love to hear that. Yeah, I really appreciate both of your answers. I that is the main goal. Reference to anytime I plan an event is, are people going to enjoy themselves, and are they going to learn something? And are they going to be are they able to feel safe while doing both of those things? And to hear your responses, sounds like we did exactly that. And
Yeah.
it's really cool. It's really cool to hear that. Just to because I know feedback and genuine feedback is valuable, so valuable, especially when building a product. When any type of creation, it can be helpful, and to hear from people who are probably gonna be the ones playing your game, you can see that the creation process is not it's not a streamline. Yeah, not a streamlined thing. It's like it's a flow. It's a flow, and you develop, people learn things, but also in the midst of them learning, people were able to connect. which I think is the super exciting part about that. It was like a win-win for everyone. People were getting feedback, other people were playing great games and learning about other people. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. With that being said, Khenan, I wanted to ask you a question as being a developer and being a part of the back end in reference to a game jam. How do you think people experience the process of building their games and being ready for such an event like this? Did you see there any like jitters of like, oh, we're gonna be showcasing our game, or people just like, oh, okay, it is what it is?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in terms of the Philadelphia game mechanics, which is Philadelphia's local game developer community, indie game developer community, when it comes to events like this, the initial response is like, yeah, like I'm ready for this, because especially since after COVID, and all the shutdowns and whatnot, people have just stayed in their houses for an extended period of time. When it when it comes to making a game, the most important part of making that game is getting user feedback, and the best user feedback you can actually get is like being able to see that person play your game, and like you can literally like watch their reactions and their movements as they're playing the game. And one of the best ways to actually like take that information is to like record it, try to screen record it as people are playing the game. A little tip out there for all you young indie game developers out there: record people playing your game, because you get to see how they're actually responding to every little thing going on, as they're playing your game. And you can also ask them directly after the fact, like, why did you do this? What made you feel like, you couldn't go there? What made you go there instead of there? And then you can take notes on all that and use that to build up your game later. So in both aspects, so we had two aspects, to apply that to, where some of the game developers had made games for a game jam, and some of the developers had made games not for the game jam and had already been working on other games. And those who had like worked on their game jam games, they worked on a few skills: time management, of course, because you have to like make a full game experience within 2 weeks, and then also like the whole criticism and feedback part, where you go and after you work on it for 2 weeks, you go have people play the game, and then you're able to talk to them in real time. So you're kind of like seeing the direct effects of what you just did to make this game, like in real time. Like, oh, I spent 30 minutes on this part of the game, and I had this mind frame about it, and then this is the response that I got. This amazing response. Everybody loved it. And then you can also go back and be like, man, I spent like a whole day trying to get this feature in, but it just did nothing but confuse people. You know what I'm saying? And you can start to like calibrate in real time, within like a compact time frame, and learn really quickly that way. And I think that was very valuable for the indie developers who went through that process. And of course, you had the indie developers who had been making a game for a little while, and then they came in to get more feedback, after having maybe like spent a couple weeks like fixing some bugs or something like that for their game. And yeah, that's what I believe is the most valuable part about it, when you're able to you're at different parts of the production pipeline, and you make your changes and you see the direct results of those changes during an in-person play test at an event like this. That experience is always super valuable for indie developers.
Sounds like it. Sounds definitely like it.
Absolutely is.
I'm very happy to have been a part of that. And in reference to what you're speaking about in terms of the recording of the screen, like my Like, yeah, pro tip.
Pro tip. Pro tip.
Wouldn't
Because you can go back and watch that, John, and you can rewind all you want. Go back to the same 5 seconds.
You're right.
See what they did.
You're right. Instead of just taking notes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, in terms of like the context of putting all of that together, and being able to see these game developers experience the events of what took place. Like, did you have like any hesitations isn't the word I'm looking for, but let's say expectations in regards to how you thought the developers would respond to this having to handle this task of making something and presenting it in such a short time?
So you're asking if I had expectations about how they would respond?
Yeah. If you thought like this was gonna be like oh yeah, this is nothing for these game developers, they're used to this, or being I just might challenge some people to a certain extent. That makes sense.
Yeah, I can go into that. Real quick before I go into that though, when it comes to screen recording games, I just want to give people like a good asset for a way they could do that. So like for those of you who don't know, OBS Studio is a free screen recording application. It's like really good, like like experienced video producers and stuff. Like they use that application. And, it's good for like screen recording, and then like you can also like separate recording channels to where it's like you can like overlay your video camera over like a screen recording and stuff like that. People use it to make YouTube videos and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's free. I just want to let people know about that. So like if you set up your game at a convention, and you let people play the game on your computer, just have OBS Studio up and running. And recording your screen, as they're playing, and like maybe record for like just that entire event, like 4 hours straight, and then go back later and cut up the different play sessions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how I'd go about that, right? Great value, right? And then in terms of my expectations for what would come out of the indie developers interacting with this event. At first, I was thinking that, like, hey, okay, like, we did the game jam, and then, was it like a week after we actually held the event? We held the event on the 28th on a Friday, right? It was a Friday.
Yep.
And we ended off the game jam event the Thursday before that. So it was about a week, about a week separation. And then of course there was like a voting period after that game jam period was over. So like Thursday was over, and then you had like a voting period. I feel like having like a longer voting period would be better. In terms of like this event for future events, it'd be better to have that. And then also just in terms of giving indie developers like that time, like more time to be like, hey, like, do I even want to go to the event? What kind of value could I get out of the event? Like giving them more of that time to reflect on that. I felt before would actually be good. Right now I'm actually really not too sure about it. Like I was thinking like, hey, like, it might be a little bit too close of a time frame for people to actually be able to be like, hey, I'll bring the game over, but maybe a week was enough because we did have a few games just go ahead and just come out. I was like, oh, I finished the game last week. Cool. I'll go ahead next week and go out and sit and shut up and stuff like that. So, that was great. That being said, I can imagine like, so we had 5 games in total get made during the game jam, and 2 were able to show up, or was it 3? Don't really remember, but my goal for the next one would be to have all five available slots get filled out for the game jams to go to the event. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, very much so, and I appreciate you sharing that tidbit of knowledge in the beginning in terms of OBS.
Yes, sir.
Non-promotional plug: the stream is on OBS, so yeah, people are
Oh,
wondering if it's a good application. It is a great application.
it is a phenomenal application.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, and in addition to that, like, yeah, I appreciate what you said, and I thought so too in reference to having more of the game jammers having their setup there would have been I think would have completed the, I was about to say pie, but I guess picture, complete more of the picture. But still, even so, just having, like, for an example, the one laptop we did have set up, which had people's games who put participated in the game jam on it on the screen where everybody could see for the projector, was great as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely added a level of that's what I'm looking for. Just like presentation of those, and focusing on those particular games. With that being said, I also was gonna say it was very beautiful experience, because at one point, like, in that room where the games were, like, you had to, like, shimmy past people, like,
Yeah.
it was crowded, but, like, I was actually so hype about that. I was like,
Yeah,
wow, man.
it was a good amount of people there, you know.
Yeah, that was sick, and everybody had fun. Everybody enjoyed themselves. Like, you cannot complain at all, and the icing on the cake, which is for reference, this question's for Mahatma. The icing on the cake was the mindfulness at the end, Mahatma, which I really appreciated.
Yes, sir.
That you were able to just allow to flow, and also in conjunction with Sunshine and the great affirmations and that you guys brought on to the event, especially in the midst of a rainstorm, just preparing people to leave. And be prepared for that. Like, that's like a big thing. Like, I mean, like, we got people to come out on a night there was like a thunderstorm, and they did. That's right. But yeah. If you could just to talk about the experience of just holding space for everyone to commemorate what just happened.
Yeah, it was definitely beautiful. I appreciate being able to have the ability to incorporate, mindfulness transitions and these kind of spaces to where, we share a lot of creative power with each other, and being able to just all help each other, like, reset our dials so that we can calmly go into the next moment of our day, regardless of if the next moment's not going to be so calm. But being able to, just facilitate pauses in our moments, because we are so used to, like, just doing and going into creation mode, and being able to, like, put that pause there to help, individuals that are already creating pauses in their lives, as well as those that are needing to get those pauses, because a lot of us will just keep playing a game or keep perfecting the creation of that certain game, and not keep going. And just being able to just facilitate, 10 minutes worth of empowering sounds, resetting, dialogue is a great space to, to wrap it up at the end. So that was definitely enjoyable. I appreciate for you adding me into this segment of expanding with the gamer world. So thank you.
I appreciate you attending and sharing your wisdom. And in reference to that exact wisdom, I wanted to ask you, like, in reference to holding events like this, we come across people who in my experience in holding events for the anime and like gaming community, certain individuals are not as skilled as others in reference to communicating with people they had just met. And I wanted to ask you if you had any advice for those people in terms of, well, I can get out there, I can go, as Khenan said, sit and look to the left of me and talk to this person that's playing a game, and we can have a conversation, and I can make a new friend. Do you have any suggestions for someone like that who wants to attend these events but feels as though they aren't extroverted enough to meet these people and have these conversations, or maybe even talk to the developer and give them their genuine opinion? You still there, Mahatma?
Hello. She dropped.
I don't know if on your end it says you're muted. If you can't hear me.
Yeah.
You know the what do you call this word?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
we got you.
I don't know why my mic was trying to be mic. But what I was saying was like, I think the best thing is to like help prepare yourself for just extroverted energy, because if you think that you're gonna have a tough time talking to people, there's gonna be people there that's not gonna have a tough time talking to you. So it's like just prepare yourself for being open to someone asking you questions, and you don't have to be fully ready to engage another person first. Just show up, do what you do, and the energy will flow. You know, people are gonna eventually end up watching, you know, what you're playing. Especially if you're like taking like super long on the game or something, or you know, they're gonna be like, oh, is this person like getting through the levels quickly, or are they stuck on a level? You know, all of those things come into play while we're there. And so you have the opportunity to talk to people, not talk to people. You don't have to talk to people. You can at least create some good body language. You know, just be a little bit mindful of the energy that you're looking to put out for yourself and others, and you'll be fine.
I actually think that's a great point. I want to fill in too, because you said like I like how you said you really don't have to socialize that much. Like, you know, I always think back to myself when say like I meet somebody that's like less social and like less comfortable with like coming to social events and stuff like that, but they want to bring themselves, they want to bring themselves to the point where they can be more comfortable with it. That always reminds me of my younger self. And when if I had told my younger self before, like, hey, like, don't worry too much about actually socializing, just get started, it would have been a lot easier for me. Starting out, like with with like when I would go to events or something like that, or like, or even at my workspace, it's just like you want to be mindful about, being kind to people, but start out, you know what I'm saying? Like, as in like, in the instance of this event, if you're nervous to go to events, but you want to start like reaching out more and like, getting to know people more, you just don't know how, you can just start by going to the event and, just watching people play games, play a little bit of the games yourself, and smile, laugh with people, and leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? For maybe like your first event out, just leave it at that. Smile, laugh, play games, and that's it. And you can make that your thing for like a little while until you like start to just get more into the flow of, responding to comments that people, you know what I'm saying, while you're at the event. Someone might make a comment and it's like, oh snap, that's how you did that, and then you might reply back and be like, yep, I just figured that out, and then that's it. That's don't say anything else for the rest of the event. You know what I'm saying? And then your next event,
that's right.
You just get more into the flow. You know what I'm saying? And the good thing about it is that you're going to events that you enjoy. So getting into that flow is going to be more natural because you're enjoying doing what you're doing in that moment, and you don't mind or even desire to talk about what you're actually doing at that point. So you can just have those conversations starting out about those things. You know what I'm saying? And then, and then in due time, before you know it, you're going to the event saying hi to everybody, asking people like, oh yeah, how'd you do that? Or it's like, oh yeah, how's it going with that thing? I remember that we was talking about that last time, and then and now you're just like flowing within the community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's all about getting comfortable with the energy of the room, and just like getting a feel for it. A lot of us are very skeptical to go outside because, I don't know what it's going to be like. And I don't know if I want to talk to people, so it's like baby steps. Just go and see what it is like and see if that's the crowd for you. And getting built, build up the stamina, because a lot of us are not used to being around a large crowd of people. 20 people, that's a lot for someone that's not around more than 2 or 3 people.
Yep,
and
that's true.
it's just being able to build up the stamina, like just like 2 or 3 people are in the room, 20, 25 people. We're not talking to everybody at the same time. It's impossible.
Yeah, right. Unless you got like 20 mouths.
And if you're doing that, I want to watch.
Yeah, it's like, hold on, teach me how to do that. It's like if you're doing that, yeah, you're gonna be popular.
Yeah, don't worry about conversation. Conversation gonna come to you.
Yeah, no, real talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. If you're. Oh my gosh. That would definitely be a feat though. If you got the showcase, might as well just circle around that person, and let them just go off. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
If they could have that many conversations, that would be super entertaining. But yeah, with that with all of you, like, just the knowledge and experience, and that's like, I really appreciate both of you, really, like, speaking on that topic, because that's something I noticed during the event, is that there were people who came by themselves, and I could sense, due to the fact of, it's really like the culture of what it is that we're doing. Some people felt less inclined to speak to people they didn't know, and I thought that was it's always interesting for me to see that, because it always makes me so happy. Because it's like, even though this person might seem more reserved, like, you got here. You literally made it. You walked through the door. And the fact that, like, someone like you felt comfortable enough to want to come to this event, couldn't ask for anything more. Couldn't ask for anything.
And it's like, yeah, I'm glad I could do that for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And just like seeing that, and like, that's hopefully, that's like something that they remember, as we talked about, like, they just that one comment of like, oh, you're good at this. I guess I am.
Like, yep. And it can start just like that.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And man, from the context of like, just like organizing, I really appreciated that. One tidbit I think I would probably want to do more of next time is have a segment get more dedicated to, like, just like cosplay, like, just just something like that, just to bring the worlds together, because like, I really do think we have like a very interesting formula, and I think that the formula is working because each of us have so much experience in our own lanes,
like facet of the what's coming together.
Yes, literally, like in the reference to like Mahatma and what you did with Sunshine, like, perfect. But that's also because you guys have been doing this. You've been doing this. Like, I couldn't. What happened, I was like, yeah, I expected this. I knew people were gonna enjoy this part, and Khenan, just like what you did with your ability to organize and really stay in contact with the developers and get them to be there. Like,
yes, sir.
absolutely phenomenal, and also showcasing your own game, which is really cool too. And like that's an experience in of itself. Which I want to talk about in a moment. And then like in reference to like I said I've been throwing anime cosplay gaming events, but like each event I throw is always fun and I really enjoy it. But this particular event, it's always exciting to me, or just me as a person, exciting to cultivate and grow something that's never been done before, and just combining the build, mindfulness, and all these other aspects. One brick at a time, and it's beautiful to see that the first brick was so like exactly what it was supposed to be, and couldn't have been happier.
No, that's a great way to describe it. It was exactly what it was supposed to be.
Yep.
Exactly what it needed to be.
Yep. Super. One of the people was saying
perfectly
it was
placed.
Yep. So one of the attendees was saying like this is like super homegrown. Like this is awesome. And it's like they were telling me like this is what people are probably gonna remember. The fact that it was just super homegrown and it was just like, oh yeah, this is the community literally getting together and hosting
and making
something.
it happen.
Yeah, hosting something for the community. And in reference to you, Khenan. Well, I mean, what did it feel like? I mean, yeah, you helped organize this event, but you also had a game you've been spending hours of your time working on there. Like, how did that feel?
Let me think about how to describe that. It felt like I have an emotion to express. I just don't know what the word is for it. Where it's like, all right, so instead of me just giving you one word, I'm going to give you some context around it, around this emotion I'm feeling. Right. So with Plot Armor Studios, right, and I'm not going to be long-winded about it. I just want to give some context. With Plot Armor Studios, no. It doesn't start with Plot Armor Studios. So when I was in high school, right? Again, this is just context. I'm not going to be long-winded. When I was in high school, I, just like any other 16-year-old, had trouble really knowing where I wanted to go, what I wanted to be doing with my life. Just 5-10 years in the future. You know what I'm saying? I knew that I wanted to be in the game industry, but exactly how, I wasn't sure. I was good at drawing, so I forced myself to draw, even though I didn't like drawing that much. I just kept practicing it, But after a while, I pretty much burnt out, and then I switched to programming. After like being in limbo for a little bit, I switched to programming. At like maybe like 22, 23 years of age, and that was like 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. So when I found programming, it became clear to me that just making games in general was a great experience for me. Just sitting there at the computer, writing lines of code, and then seeing the results of writing those lines of code in the form of a game. And then going out and showing people that stuff, all that is a process. Writing that first line of code, making something happen, and then showing people, and then going back and redoing the whole thing. You get feedback, and then you revamp. It was self-discovery. You know what I'm saying? It was me really solidifying, like wrapping up that process that I'd started to learn to love. You know what I'm saying? Where I started writing my first line of code, is like, yo, this is cool. Started seeing the results of what I was doing, like, yo, this is cool. And I can see myself doing this, for the rest of my life. And then showing the game, and then actually getting like the responses, and getting the feedback, and then going back and reiterating on my game. that wrapped up that process. And along with wrapping up that process, I wrapped up my feeling of fulfillment, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? In making games. Like I was like, yeah, like this is just about the cycle that I can see myself being involved in for the rest of my life. It's just making games, you know what I'm saying, seeing the results, getting feedback, and then reiterating. And like I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have, you know, and it's gotten to the point where like I stopped having, you know, any like doubts about, you know, what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, this is it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like when I'm 60, you know what I'm saying, 40, 50 years from now, whatever, like I'll probably be in a much similar situation, but like, you know, maybe on like a larger scale. Not maybe, like definitely on a larger scale. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So yeah, whatever I'm doing right now, I'm doing the same thing, bro. Just you know, I'll just be older and be on a larger scale. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I felt. You know what I'm saying? From showing my game is like, you know, just hell yeah, man.
Dude,
you know?
that, and the thing is that John looked cool, cause I mean, it was cool to like cause you've been talking about it with me for a while, and to my first time like really seeing it was watching other people come up and play it. So like that was really sick to see. Yep. And it also, as I said, that John looked clean. I was like, "Oh, we in the woods with it."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're on the battlefield now.
Yeah, that was sick. I was like, okay, it looked like an RPG, and I was like, wow, this is sick, man. And like this, all the work that I know you've been putting in, I'm so happy that as an organizer, you also got to have that experience, and I just think that's absolutely beautiful.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. It's making me honestly think about like what happened with my game at the game jam, since I was like a participator as a game jammer. That I remember.
Right.
Yeah, that was my first time. Like I had the privilege of being able to do the music for that game, which was really cool.
Are you talking about Global Game Jam?
No, this game jam.
The
Harmony
for you worked on the Harmonyville.
Yeah, Harmonyville game. And that was like it was really sick to do the music for that game, but also I discovered something about myself, which is like I apparently have some pretty funny writing, and people enjoyed that. I kind of like fell into it, but wrote some a lot of the dialogue.
Okay. Yeah. No. So like I played that. Like yo, it's like that was quite the punchline there. It's like, so I didn't even know you wrote some of that.
Yeah, it was a whole process, because our one writer wrote like the premise, and then something happened where he had to attend and take care of that, and then I took his premise and then like reworked the entire thing using the help of like AI and stuff, and then like I just like went back over the things I didn't like and tweaked it, and like that was really cool. That's why, like, for everyone who participates, I'm just so happy that everyone has such an experience. And also for the vendors too, like people coming up to me and telling me that they enjoyed their purchases, and like they're like, oh, like my one friend got, like, him and I both got like a bunch of like credit card skins from one of the vendors, which was really sick. Yeah.
Man, what? Dang, I missed that.
Yeah, yep. They had a bunch of different things. Like one, I didn't get the one I wanted, but he did. He got the Mr. Krabs sitting on a bunch of money bags, and I was like, ah.
Man, honestly,
Definitely missed that.
Bro, we need to go back, bro.
Oh no,
nah, because that sounds lit.
Yeah, without a doubt, they're definitely coming back. They're definitely gonna be coming back again. And like, I also got myself, I literally have this water bottle that I bought while there too. It's like comic book. It's like a metal water bottle, but the outside is like comic book version of or the comics, and like a picture of Piccolo.
Yep, I saw them. I was about to buy one of my friends on that joint, but I forgot to buy it. They never got back to me. That's why they didn't get back to me about like what they wanted.
it's in like that's the sick part. It's just everybody had fun. There was a lot to do. There is a lot of people to see. It was just an experience, and
Yes, sir.
like one of the things I really worked to do while being there that night is to be present, because I was like, hey, yo, it's not gonna happen again. Like, now I mean, like, it will happen again, but this first time, it's not gonna happen again.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate
like everything that didn't go as planned.
Yeah, nothing like that first night energy.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Nothing like that first night. Now, like, but also I'm excited to see what that second night is going to be like with a more refined look and experience, and just to keep, the goal is, every time 1% better, 2% better, 5%, maybe 150%, but like,
you feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like the next one's like, we might get 1,000% out that.
Yo, that would be quick little 10x,
Yes, sir.
But it was a pleasure having the both of you here. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Quite enjoyed myself, and I can't wait for the next one. Before we go, if you guys like to let them know once again where they can find you on platforms. Mahatma, if you want to start.
Yes, you can find me on IG, Facebook, Elite Motivation 411, and you can also check me out on my podcast, EM Healing, and that's E for Elite, M for Motivation, EM Healing, on many platforms. Check me out. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
It was a pleasure.
And yeah, you can find me again. My name is Khenan Newton. I'm gonna go ahead and give my studio Instagram. I gave my personal Instagram before. My studio Instagram is at @plotarmor_studios. And it's just straight like that, like plot armor, like like an anime kind of character. That's plot armor. PLOTARMOR_studios. And there you'll see updates of FLO as I continue work on that, and also some of my past work, Third Power that I released 2022. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's how it's gonna go down.
Yep. And it was it's a pleasure. And hey, you guys can find me at Thatkidlbs, but more importantly, go to @Toonamaste. Same thing as you'll see in the description for this video. This was a fantastic episode. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to do another recap of the next event.
Yeah, I'm saying. Thanks for having me, brother.
It's a pleasure having y'all. And to everyone else who's listening, I hope you guys have a good night, good morning, good day, wherever you are in the world or whenever you listen to this. Stay